One Belt, One Road, the South Asia trip of the ambassadors of culture from China to spread the Buddha-dharma around the world. Light of wisdom from the Buddha shine through the universe. Walk together, dream together. On the afternoon of the 28th, 2015, via a personal invitation from Mr. Taran Vijay, the virtual master金珂玄雷and his disciples arrived in the MP's home. The minister and DCM Mr. Yao Jin, cultural councillor Mr. Zhang Zhihong, and councillor Mr. Sun Ge of the Chinese Embassy in India, and the Secretary General of China Public Diplomacy Association Mr. Song Ronghua, also accompanied the master for this visit. Mr. Taran Vijay is a leader of the Bharatiya Janata Party and also president of Parliamentary Group on India-China Friendship. Mr. Taran Vijay first initiated the communication by extending a great welcome to the master. It is a great honor to receive the master in my home today. The master had traveled a long way to bring the grand painting to the people of India during the 65th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relations between China and India. The painting had integrated the spirits of the dragon and the elephant, and it had touched all of our hearts while giving me insights into the optimistic futures of India and China. It had also shown the glimpses of the powerful connotation in Sino-esoteric Buddhism and let everyone know that China is a country and freedom of religion. Venerable Master, is this your first visit to India? The Master replied, "This is my first visit to India. It is but the causation and the predestined connection between you and me, and I am here today. Those of you who have faith will see the boundless seeds of wisdom in the Sino-esoteric Buddhism mandala. It shines in your heart with kindness and love. And for those without faith, they could not see it nor understand it." MP Sri Tapstan Chuwan, Senior President of Yes Bank, Mrs. Priti Singha, and many other present were all deeply moved by the words of the Master. MP Sri Tapstan Chuwan put his palms together and nodded in agreement while the Master preached. He was the president of Ladakh Buddhist Association and also a devoted practitioner. Mr. Taran Vijay asked, "Venerable Master, would you be so kind to enlighten us on how we could further promote the friendship between India and China?" The Master replied, "To better promote bilateral ties between China and India, China must start by reviving her own traditional cultures. Buddhism is part of that traditional culture, and it will play a vital role in improving bilateral ties. The two countries also need to improve in mutual understanding, cooperative interactions, and peaceful coexistence. As we are here today, our kind intentions to understand each other through truest and honesty will lead us to collective purposes. That is what we call dependent origination. Right here, right now, we have planted the good karma of Bodhi for China and India, and I believe without joint efforts, the people of China and India will be strong and prosperous in the near future, while bearing fruits from flourishing cultures." Mr. Taran Vijay continued to say, "According to our traditions, we must all sit at the feet of the divine like students to show our veneration and respect. Venerable Master, please enlighten us with some brief Buddha-dharma." The Master started with, "The Buddha-dharma is so comprehensive. She governs both the dharmas of the mundane and transcendental, but with the dharmas for transcendental as its true purpose. It had given instructions on the prevention of superstitious, suspicious attachments and prejudices. Devoted practitioners with perseverance will be able to remove their past deeds, purify their mind, attain a clear state of mind, and gain wisdom from faith, thus being able to have the right belief, the right view, the right awareness, the right action, and be awakened. These are the approaches to break away from the troubles of birth, aging, sickness, death, and to finally reach nirvana. The Buddha-dharma is not a philosophy, nor is it a science. It is the dependent origination that is more philosophical than any philosophy. It is the conditional causation that is more scientific than any science. It is the teaching that is more religious than any religion. It is the divine heart, that is more ideal than any idealism. It is a perfect wisdom that contains extraordinary essences beyond all conception, which also contains the truth of the universe, the essential for spiritual enlightenment, and is the ultimate goal of all Dharma. The Master went on with all the ups and downs, honors and insults, happiness and sorrows, separations and reunions experienced by the physical body in this earthly realm are just dreams and illusions. The lives of every sentient being come into existence from the combination of their own dependent originations. Nothing is permanent, everything will rise and fall. Ignorance and attachments mold the physical form and its surroundings, but even ignorance is just a fabrication of one's own mind. It is no property. Although human life is short, we can still reach its true potential by having the right belief for the Buddha-dharma, planting the seed of Buddha-dharma by practicing the 6 parameters, and end the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. The Buddha-dharma told the real truth of the universe and life. It also pointed out the directions to practice. The right knowledge and the right view for practicing the Buddha-dharma are to combine listening, thinking, and practicing. How could one be truly awakened by only listening to the Dharma without thinking or practicing? How could anyone truly understand the Dharma by only practicing without listening or thinking? To reach true enlightenment, focus on all 3 methods should be equal. Pure theoretical talks through interpreting sutras out of context without actual practices and truth to back it up does not comply with the Buddha-dharma, nor is it the right path to Buddha. When the mind arises, every kind of Dharma arises. When the mind extinguishes, all kinds of Dharmas extinguishes. What the mind experiences, every kind of Dharma experiences. All the Dharma exist because of the mind. Everything comes from the mind, and the true Dharma is only revealed when the mind is fully awakened. No matter how hard anyone practices, if they had forgotten the Buddha, they are not practicing the Buddha-dharma. True enlightenment can only be achieved by practicing diligently. Always has the heart a body, practicing the 6 parameters in everyday life and never to stray away from the will to achieve enlightenment. The Master continued on with the true goal of the Buddha-dharma is to reach the stage of Buddhahood while giving refuge to all sentient beings. Buddhism aspires practitioners to give salvations to all sentient beings through compassion, love and Bodhi. To understand all, to be compassionate to all. The ideology of today's society is not conditioned for the harmonious coexistence of materialism and idealism. But in truth, materialism and idealism are not antagonistic to each other. They are just 2 different aspects in the unity of opposites for the something. They coexist in a mutually dependent and inseparable existence, just like the functions of our eyes and mouth. One depends on the other, coexists with the other, and could not survive without the other. For human beings, our physical body is the material, and our soul is the spiritual. There is no night without day. There are no women without men. Everything exists in the mind, and without a mind there is nothing. This is the dependent origination of the rise and fall of all. As long as materialism and idealism are viewed as antagonistic to each other, there will always be fighting and killing between humans. Societies will never be truly stable and harmonious. Freedom of religious belief will never be truly realized. And the morality, spirit, and culture of human civilization will never be pure and advanced. The momentary joy from material gains could never satisfy the emptiness left by the lack of spiritual pursuit. The essential structures of human spirituality and culture will never be achieved by raising the standards of living to fairly well off through the possession and enjoyment of material good. Neither will it be as greatly well off. Therefore, spiritually wealthy and to have moral values from faith is more important than being rich in material possessions. Rigid and close-minded views cannot bring development. All the Dhammas exist because of the mind. Everything comes from the mind, and the true Dharma is only revealed when the mind is fully awakened. The Master said the Buddha-dharma is the wholly complete wisdom to reach enlightenment. If all sentient beings had a common faith, then they would have a common language, work for the same life goal, and ultimately attain the same achievements. The Buddha-dharma protects the nation and benefits its people, and at the same time provides nourishment for all sentient beings. It's all about having the mind of Buddha, always acting selflessly, and bringing benefits to all realms. The way to completely protect the nation is to protect the mind. They are one and the same. The fundamental base for protecting the nation lies in improving one's own mind, and the fundamental method to improve one's own mind starts with inspiring the minds and wisdoms of all sentient beings. The relationships between person to person, nation to nation, can only be truly improved by selfless intentions from minds of Buddha and actions from minds that has always been pure. It is the same in eliminating animosities and resentments. The Buddha had said, while in their meditative states, the Tathagatas saw all sentient beings as equals, and they emphasized withal, therefore, for the sake of all sentient beings, the Tathagatas will protect kings. To protect kings is to protect princes. To protect princes is to protect ministers. To protect ministers is to protect common folks. To protect common folks is to protect treasures. To protect treasures is to protect armies. To protect armies is to protect neighboring states. If the line of the protection continued as such, there will be peace forever. After listening to the masters preach with devotion and respect, everyone asked the master to give blessings to their Buddha statues. The master chanted esoteric mantras to plant the seed of the wisdom in all present. Afterwards, Mr. Taranveri said, Prime Minister Modi is well aware of the connections and the Buddhism has in the entire region, and who better to string it together than India, the home of the Buddha. The Prime Minister greatly welcomed the grand painting that the Master has brought for the people of India. Through combining the spirit of the dragon and the elephant, the painting had promoted friendly ties between the people of India and China. The renaissance of Buddhism culture should be the first step in reviving the Silk Road. It will bring benefits to all the countries along its path. By bringing the seed of Sino-esoteric Buddhism and Mandala back to India, the Master had initiated a significant step for this purpose, and in the future, this seed is sure to retake root, blossom, and bear fruit for the salvation of sentient being. Let us join together in making this beautiful symphony of India and China walk together, dream together.